Hey, 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 it's your girl Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic. And yes, honey, we got some nice, bright, and shiny art for you today around my face. Do you dig it? I knew that you would. Anywho, I'm Carla Renata, as I said, the Curvy Film Critic, and you have tuned into the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Hope you had a nice Memorial Day. We were off that week, but we are back with a full packed house full of stuff. I can't wait to get into it with you. If this is your first time here, please give me a big old thumbs up to let me know that you were here. Click that bell for notifications if you are on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel. You never know who you're going to miss, especially when I have guests like I have today. This young lady is hilarious. She's one of my favorite comedic actresses that are out there. She's thebomb.com, and she's currently starring in a show on Stars called Run the World. And she has a film that is dropping this week called The House Next Door, which is the long-awaited sequel to Meet the Blacks by my boy Deon Taylor. So without further ado, let's bring to the stage Miss Bresha Webb.
Hi.
Look at you looking all pretty for a sister. Thank you.
Gotta get ready for the Curvy Critic.
Hey sis, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You playing Allie in The House Next Door. Honey, Allie is many, many things. So for those people who didn't get a chance to see the first Meet the Blacks, tell them about what Allie's doing and Meet the Blacks and how y'all got to the House Next Door.
Well, Meet the Black one was so much fun. We took on the Purge pretty much. So if you've seen the Purge, just imagine Mike, we got Mike Epps, we've got everybody, Gary Owen, we've got Lil Duval, we've Michael Blackston. Just imagine them being placed in the Purge setting. So it's definitely a comedy with a little bit of horror. So that's what Meet the Blacks one was.
Ridiculous. This was giving me kind of like, it's like it was the Purge, but it was kind of giving me like if y'all took Blackula and those Scream movies and put all of that into a cauldron and mixed it up. To me, that was what The House Next Door ended up being.
Yes, then you got it. That's exactly what The House Next Door is. Yeah, with just brought in Cat Williams and a lot of other really funny comedians. Deon Taylor is incredible. His vision about just what comedy can do in a space of horror is so creative, especially when it comes to Black comedy and just that, that circle of just humor. Like I grew up watching Friday. I grew up watching and falling in love with all of those classics that made me want to be a comedic actress. So, to be a part of a franchise or a movie that's Al-esque like that, dream come true. So you want to have a good time, you want to laugh, you don't want to like deal with all the stuff in the world, watch The House Next Door, have a good laugh. You might jump a little bit, it's fun. And Allie Black is like forever young. She's 17, 18, going to college, confused, dealing with Freezy, her ex-boyfriend, played by...
Let's pause there and talk about Freezy for a minute, because I'm like, why is Allie dealing with somebody who can't walk? I'm like, he got the little hand things, and I'm like, got a lot going on, Freezy.
In the first one, he died.
Oh.
We killed him. So he's handicapped because we thought he fell off the banister, but surprise.
No, we thought he fell off the banister. Oh, Lord.
So, yeah, he came in the Purge trying to kill my dad, and then it's crazy. Like, just throw realness out the door. It's ridiculous.
It is crazy. And we got Cat Williams playing Dr. Mama Walde. That name in itself, and they make fun of the fact that his name is Dr. Mama Walde. They make fun of the fact that girls are going in the house and never coming out, and it's on the news.
Yes, it's ridiculous. It's so much fun. We had so much fun doing it.
Was this something on your bucket list to do one of these types of movies that's just crazy, making fun of itself in a respect, and your character kind of making fun of herself too?
Absolutely. I mean, again, I grew up watching Friday and Scary Movie and always wanting to be a part of that type of franchise. And this came along and I jumped at the opportunity, to like dress like a hot girl, like my character Renee on, World is completely different from Allie. So to have those coming out at the same time is just wild, and so people can see the versatility. And so
I know you versatile, Diva. Let's talk about Renee on Run the World, because that looks like that's a lot of fun, and that's running on Stars, right?
Yes, it comes on tonight if it's Sunday, wherever this is. Yeah, Sunday at 8:30. So I'm gonna watch it live tonight as well.
So talk to us about Renee and Run the World and what's happening over there.
Well, we're on the 4th episode, but Run the World is about 4 beautiful, successful Black women living in Harlem. And we are living our best lives, and we are just going through life. Love, relationships, friendships, career, all of those things that everyone else goes through. We're just telling it our way. And it's funny, it's sexy, it's relatable. The fashion is on point,
Of course it is. You're in it. You're not going to be in nothing else.
Come on. T.L. Cox and Patricia Field. So, like, you can't go wrong there. The same person that did Sex and the City. So,
yeah. That's great. Listen, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I do want to tell you this before I cut you loose and ask you one more question. I loved you. I first became aware of you when you were on that sitcom with Phil Morris, and you were looking crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this girl right here, she needs a show by herself because she is hilarious.
Yeah, thank you. Love that girl. And I love Bentley Kyle Evans, Martin Lawrence, Phil Morris, Tatiana Ali, Alfonso Macaulay. I learned so much doing that show. That was where I really got my comedic roots at. So
I think Hollywood been sleeping on you for a minute, but that's about to end. I think you are easily one of the hottest, freshest, most unique comedic talents that we have for girls in the chocolate lane, and for girls, period. You don't have to be chocolate like you, but for chocolate women and chocolate girls that have an aspiration to jump into comedy, they couldn't have a better role model than you, Bresha.
Bless you. Thank you. I mean, I'm here now doing a drama. So that'll be coming out too. But it's
the Tyler Perry movie too. You were great in that too. I was like,
yeah.
Am I the only person that's saying this? Because I'm just saying.
My parents made very clear, if I wanted to be an actress and do this for real, I got to do it all. You got to sing, you got to dance, you got to be funny, you got to crowd cue, you got to do it all.
Well, good. Well, my people in the chat room are saying that they got stars. They're gonna check you out on Run the World.
Please, you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
And I'm so glad that you took time out to join me. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I said 10 minutes, and I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I want to encourage everybody to see The House Next Door. It is the sequel to Meet the Blacks. It will be in theaters this week, and it is produced by Lionsgate Films and directed by Deon Taylor. Yep.
June 11th. Go support. Go have a good time. Relax. Laugh.
Cool. Thank you, Bresha. I adore you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you soon, okay?
Bye.
Bye. I love her. That's my girl. She's so sweet and so cute and so just, she's got so much energy. She's so vivacious, and you guys are really going to love her in these projects that we talked about. I'm so happy she was able to join me live today. So before we get into the reviews and the other interviews, let's take a little trip where? Around the curve.
The trip around the curve. A longtime executive hit the House of Mouse with a discrimination lawsuit based on sexual orientation after accuser's sexual orientation became known to his superiors and was repeatedly denied promotions with no remedy or relief from HR. We'll keep you in the loop on this one. Remember when Tom Cruise went off regarding fears of COVID-19 and having to shut down? Well, production on Mission Impossible 7 has temporarily shut down for 2 weeks after at least one member tested positive for coronavirus. Issa Rae Gray will be voicing Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, for Sony Pictures animation sequel Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, directed by Joaquin Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. John Boyega has exited Netflix's movie Rebel Ridge mid-shoot, with family reasons cited by the streamer as cause for the abrupt departure. We understand Netflix is working hard to find a replacement for the Star Wars actor, and someone is likely to be drafted within the next few days. Girls Trip star Tiffany Haddish will star in and produce a biopic about three-time Olympic gold-winning track and field athlete Florence FloJo Griffith Joyner for the sports content studio Game One. Donnie Yen, Shamir Anderson, and Japanese-British pop star Rina Samayawa have signed on to join Keanu Reeves in John Wick Chapter 4. Jodie Turner-Smith is in negotiations to join Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig in Noah Baumbach's next feature film for Netflix, an adaptation of Don DeLeo's White Noise. Jonathan Majors, star of Lovecraft Country, is in early talks to star as the adversary in Creed 3 and stand in the ring opposite Michael B. Jordan's Adonis Creed. 6 months after The Blacklist and MGM unveiled their feature film script writing partnership, they announced their first winner, Narendra Henry, to receive a 2-step Guild minimum blind script deal. MGM has also found its leads in Casey Lights and Emery Crutchfield for the Dark Harvest feature adaptation based on Norman Partridge's 2007 Bram Stoker award-winning novel of the same name, directed by David Slade. Jodie Foster will be honored twice at the Cannes Film Festival. The actress-director is set to be the guest of honor at the opening ceremony and will receive the honorary Palme d'Or. More HFPA news. The organization has hired a new DEI consultant and retained a pair of law firms to independently investigate reports made to the previously announced hotline that will allow anyone to report an incident, complaint, or allegation. Leah Harvey is joining A24's Tuesday, starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus, directed by Dana O. Pusick. Malcolm Jamal Warner has acquired the film and television rights to Russell Duncan's novel Freedom's Shore. Warner will produce and star in the project. A writer is not yet attached. Diobia Opari has joined the cast of the Netflix thriller The Gray Man, directed by the Russo brothers. And in a first, a Universal Pictures movie, The Boss Baby Family Business, will debut simultaneously in theaters and on their sister streaming service Peacock Premium. The 94th Annual Academy Awards will take place on March 27, 2022, almost a month earlier than this year's COVID-delayed Oscars on April 25th. Lee Daniels has signed a new multi-year overall deal with 20th Television. Anna Akana has joined Emma Roberts in About Fate, directed by Marius Weisberg. Chris Davis has landed the role of two-time world heavyweight champion George Foreman in the George Tillman Jr. directed biopic, which is set up under Sony's Affirmed Films label. The Antoine Fuqua directed sci-fi thriller Infinite, starring Mark Wahlberg, will hit Paramount Plus streaming service on June 10th. Production starts in September with Hypnotic, directed by Robert Rodriguez and starring Ben Affleck and Alice Braga. 25 years after Clueless, Alicia Silverstone is returning to the high school comedy genre, joining the cast of Paramount Players Senior Year, starring Rebel Wilson, Justin Harley, with Alex Hardcastle on board to direct. And last but not least, Miles Teller has joined the Paramount Plus limited series The Offer, replacing Armie Hammer as producer Al Ruddy. The series is based on The Godfather. That's it for this week's Around the Curve.
All right, that was a lot of news, but I hadn't been here for a couple of weeks, so a sister had to make up for it. You know how I roll. That's what I do. So let's get into these reviews, shall we? I have a couple of them. One is for the Moby doc, one is for In the Heights, and one is for a new Antoine Fuqua film called Infinite. And I may or may not talk about the AFI docs. We're running a little short on time. So actually, you know what? We're running short on time. I will only talk about the Moby doc and In the Heights. I'll talk about Infinite next week and the AFI docs next week. So what did you say? She should start eating meat again because Clueless don't look so good. Michael B, stop that. You ain't right. Okay, so let's talk about this Moby documentary. Now, if you are like me, I am not a big fan of techno music. As a matter of fact, I knew who Moby was, but I wasn't quite sure why he was famous or what made his music so whatever. But so I decided to watch this Moby doc. It's produced by Greenwich Entertainment, and it is put together by Moby himself. And he basically goes into the trauma of his childhood to figure out why he's had the life that he's had, what caused him to drink, why he got to a place where the adoration from fame was overtaking his energy and his psyche, and trying to move past that. So he ultimately became a vegan. He's a really staunch animal activist, and he has found a way to get on the other side of that adrenaline that fame gives a lot of artists. We've seen so many artists over the years succumb to that and be taken out due to the lack of adulation that is usually given to them by their fans. So, having said that, music literally is the thing that gave him adulation, but it's also the thing that saved his life. So Moby, the Moby doc, is streaming on Discovery Plus right now. It's a little frenetic and all over the place. And I'm like, this probably could have been like a 2020 special. It didn't necessarily need to be a documentary, but it is a documentary, and there's that. So we just gonna go with it. But you can judge for yourself. And if you are a techno music fan, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. I'm not a big techno fan, so I was kind of like, I don't know about this one. So, all right. So In the Heights, I loved In the Heights because, as I've said numerous times, I'm a Broadway baby. I saw this on Broadway with the original cast. It is written and I don't think Lin-Manuel directed it, but he wrote it and he composed the music for it on Broadway when I saw it. And it was playing in the same theater where I made my Broadway debut, the Richard Rodgers Theater. And I went over to see it, and I had not seen anything like it. And I now can hear, now that Hamilton's out, that Lin-Manuel has a signature sound, because you can hear the music sounding very similar. It's about this young man who runs this bodega named Usnavi, who's played by Anthony Ramos. And you may remember Anthony Ramos from Monsters and Men and A Star is Born with Lady Gaga. And now he's not supporting anymore. He's headlining this film. And it's his energy and his enthusiasm and verve that carries this movie. Now, In the Heights Hamilton beat, well, let me find a better way to say this. Hamilton garnered 16 Tony nominations, beating Lin-Manuel's own record of 13 nominations for In the Heights when it was on Broadway, right? So it is a musical movie, which we don't see that many of them anymore. It is vibrant. It is beautiful. It takes place in Washington Heights, which is a borough in Manhattan, Upper Manhattan, past 168th Street, I think is around the area that it is. I used to live up that way, so I'm very familiar with that area. The production design by Nelson Coates is right on the money. He got the energy and the vibe and the overall feel of Washington Heights right on the money. I did an article on him in Variety, so check that out if you get a chance. The person who steals this movie, though, in addition to Anthony Ramos, is Olga Merides, and she is the bomb. She originated the role of Abuelo Claudia. Abuelo Claudia. She originated that role on Broadway. She's recreating it on screen. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. She's going to be a contender when the Oscars start rolling around, because I can't imagine anybody that sees her in this film is not going to be touched by it. She has this whole number that deals with her paying homage to Cuba, where she came from before coming to New York, and having this moment of whether or not she wants to stay in New York or whether she wants to leave spiritually. She, is that kind of situation. And I love that In the Heights does this whole parallel between the Black and Brown communities, how oftentimes in our communities, how we love and how passionate we are in our feelings, and how passionate we are about education is really all the same. And the kind of doors that open and the opportunities that are taken away simply because we're Black or we're brown, all of those things. There's so many things. It's just it's like a melting pot or a big pot of gumbo that you will see when you watch In the Heights. It'll have you dancing in your seat. You're going to absolutely love it. It is produced by Warner Brothers Pictures. You can stream it on HBO Max. It comes out this week. If you do not have HBO Max, I highly suggest that you hit it and quit it and get it, because baby, it is something to see. Hello, Kenneth Williams. Welcome. All right. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about this film called Infinite. Infinite is a film that is directed by Antoine Fuqua. It stars Mark Wahlberg and Chiwetel Ejiofor. It is going to be streaming on Paramount Plus on June 10th. It's about how you can live your life and figure out where you want your life to go at any given point. So there's like these nihilists and there's these believers, and basically the gist of the film is there are people that are gifted with the perfect memory of their past lives. They're called infinites, and everybody else is called a nihilist. So Mark Wahlberg plays Evan McCauley, and he's trying to figure out who he is. When he finally does figure out who he is, it unlocks a plethora of memories and past lives that he does not see coming. It is high on action. It's a little long for me, but I like Mark Wahlberg. I like Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I adore Antoine Fuqua. So I say see it. It's on, again, it's going to be on Paramount Plus, streaming this week. Now, I will talk about the AFI docs at the end. So I had an opportunity, if y'all are Law and Order fans, Law and Order has 2 Black women that are in the franchise, and they have a new show called Law and Order Organized Crime. And in this franchise, they have Tamara Taylor and Danielle Moné Truitt. Danielle Moné Truitt is like the HBIC in charge. I love that. And we haven't seen Black women in this franchise since S.E. Pather Murkison, and that's been a minute. So I was all about it. But I sat down and I talked to the ladies about that and the franchise when we talked about Law and Order Organized Crime. Take a look and a listen. So I have watched this whole series, and I just want to say to both of you, it's so nice to see some melanin up in there for the female women melanin, because for years it was just like S.E. Pather Murkison, right? For years.
Oh, yes. No, she was everyone.
Like she was the OG of the Law and Order franchise, and we haven't really seen anyone since her. So I'm like, yes, yes, Danielle, Tamara, yes. I was so excited. Now, my first question will be for Danielle. What does it feel like to be the HBIC of this, iconic franchise?
It feels awesome. I told someone the other day, episode of the finale is about to air, and we were on set wrapping up episode 8. I think it was the showrunner I was talking to, and I said, we've been shooting for 4 months, and today I finally now realize I'm on the show.
Isn't that amazing?
I've been in shock. Like, I literally have been in shock this entire 8 episodes because everything happened so fast. My friends and family look at me and they're like, you don't know what's happening, do you? Clue. It has not set into you. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. But now I'm like, okay, I'm very grateful to God, very grateful to everybody who has supported me. And I just want to continue, to do good work on the show and represent for my people, and hopefully this goes, a long time, but I'm
as long as y'all want it to be going.
Yeah. I'm grateful for every day, every opportunity, and just bringing this character, to life. So feels awesome.
Well, and I was really excited because it said organized crime. I am like the last of the dolls that loves a good mafia story. So I'm like, oh, Law and Order is going to the mafia. Oh, yes, I'm there for all of that right there. And we got you. It's Tamara, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Tamara, we got you as the ex-wife to the head dude. I'm like, really though? That's what we're gonna do on Law and Order? Okay, I'm there for all of that. I'm there for all of that. So I want to ask you, Tamara, you said you have, at one point your character, Angela, says, I have nothing to regret, right? I have nothing to regret. Do you think that she rolled over on her ex-husband to avenge her son, or do you think she rolled over for that reason and to kind of try to open that door so she could hook up with Stabler? I'm just saying, because women make some crazy decisions for crazy reasons. I'm just saying.
Women do make some crazy decisions from crazy places. I think ultimately, I think first and foremost, it's about Rafiq. I think there is no forgiving a man that has taken your child. So once that's confirmed, I think she's ready to be on the right side of things and help them take down Richard in whatever way she can.
Yeah.
And then you got the whole messy situation with Stabler. I don't know if she's entirely convinced there's any way he can forgive her. How do you even though she didn't call the hit, it's still adjacent. She was had enough of a hand in it that it's gonna. I don't know if she expects him to bounce back from and regain his feelings for her.
And let's just acknowledge this for a second, because honey, that rooftop scene with y'all with the hand and the holding and the face, I was like, was it on the page like that? Or did y'all discuss how can we make this intimate and sexy without making it intimate and sexy?
Well, interestingly, I would say it's funny. You remember how it was written, Danielle. It was written like any other like 9.5 weeks fantasy moment.
Right.
Angela opens the door, Stabler pushes her against the wall, and they kiss, and she wraps her legs around his waist, and they're feverishly taking each other's clothes off. And then they stop. It was kind of that moment, the very sort of hot, out of control moment. And I read it and went, okay, I guess we're going to do that. And Chris took me aside and he said, I don't think we should do this at all. It feels predictable. Mm-hmm. He said, I've done this before. Like we all know I can do this. And we've all seen Stabler in that way, which is not vulnerable at all. It's animalistic and all those things that he's, we're used to seeing him as. He said, why don't we approach this with a little more intimacy and gentleness, which actually I think scared the fans more because it made it seem like they actually really were developing feeling. Yeah.
And Tamara, let me just give you your flowers, girl. You've been in this business for a minute. A minute. Yes. I mean, I remember you from the AT&T commercials, okay?
Oh my gosh. That was my first job.
Was it really?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, my first job.
I remember you from that. But what I want to ask both of you is before we get up out of here, because I done took up all my time fangirling over y'all. But we love it. But I want to know how we're feeling about grieving over the last 15 months. We've had a pandemic, we've lost friendships. Some of us have lost loved ones. Do we think that all of that loss can be redefined at this point? And I'll start with Danielle first.
Well, I am a Christian, and I believe, what the Bible says when it says, that he'll give us beauty for ashes and that all things work together for the good. I truly believe that. And it has been a rough year and a half for people with COVID, and just personally, we're all going through our personal things. And then on top of it, we're in a pandemic and there's all this social unrest. And I thank God for, the George Floyd conviction. That brought me, I was on set that day. Eric LaSalle was directing that episode. And we were in the hood, in the Bronx somewhere. And I was like, if this verdict doesn't come out in a favorable way, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on a set of Law and Order playing a sergeant
and be cool
and complete my day. Something in me would not be right with that, and thank God, it was a favorable outcome for us. And I was like, okay, I'll finish my day. But I do believe that things are turning around for a lot of people. And like you said, with Tamara, she's been in the business forever. I'm pretty new. I'm getting my opportunities now. And I just think it's hilarious that all this time that I have been putting in work in LA and stuff like that, I would get the biggest job of my life during a pandemic when
the Lord. What they say, sometimes that's how God works, right?
Oh, always. Always. His ways are ingenious, his methods are sure.
TT, take us out. How do you feel about that same question?
Wow. Well, I feel like it's been an intense time. I feel like we're sort of over the midpoint for sure. And I think that that's definitely making way for a little PTSD. We're all sort of figuring out where we've the emotional terrain we've covered in this last year and a half, which is it's been pretty intense, and it's been pretty intense in all areas. But what I do think it's done, and I'm with Danielle, I think that as dark and, at times terrifying as it's all been, it's brought us together as a people, as a community. It's brought the truth to light, which I think can only be good, even if it's an ugly truth. And you know, in terms of the civil rights, we're in the middle of a civil rights movement, which I think is extraordinary and long overdue. So there are so many blessings that have come from this. But the interesting thing, I always say God speaks in paradox. And like you said, who knew that some of the best things that were coming to humanity were going to come through one of the worst times, you know, like this has probably been one of the scariest times in most everybody's life.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, it's been my absolute immense pleasure to talk and fangirl out over you this morning, this afternoon, wherever you happen to be.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait for this finale. I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. I just need to know. Inquiring minds need to know. But thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. So you know the finale already aired. It aired this week. So check it out. You can see Law and Order streaming on NBC Peacock, their streaming service, or I think they might be on Hulu or maybe some other places too. But check it out. You are gonna love it, love it, love it. It's such a good show. All right. So next up, I had the opportunity to talk to two legends in the industry, Miss Loretta Devine and Miss Ann-Margret. They are starring in a film through Universal Pictures. We keeping it in the NBC family, y'all. It's called Queen Bees. And they are hilarious. It's basically, you're never too old to find love, take risk, and have a whole new chapter in life, even though you are in that senior section of life. You know, a lot of people think, oh, if you're older, life is over. You just waiting to kick the bucket. Honey, not the case in this movie. And we got some legendary people in it. Ellen Burstyn, James Caan, and Jane Curtin. Jane Curtin and Ellen Burstyn kind of round out the Queen Bee. So without further ado, let's get into this interview first with the incredible Miss Loretta Devine. Hey, Miss Loretta. Yay.
Good to see you.
It's good to be seen. I'm good.
When did you become the curvy critic? Oh my God. Okay, I don't want to waste your 4 minutes. I would just start gossiping with you. Go ahead.
It's all good. But you know, inquiring minds need to know, Miss Queen Bee Loretta, that scene in the bed, girl, with that hair. I hollered out loud. Did you have any? I know you had some input into that. I know you did. Tell me, please, that you did.
The director told me I could improv, and we had talked about it, but he didn't know what I was going to do. So Ellen was really scared. She was. It was truly like it came up. I think the scene really worked for us because she didn't know what was coming next. And I didn't either. I just kept going. You know how it is, girl. You just keep moving it. Get it going. Keep going.
Yeah, you that theater doll. You're like, I don't care that the camera's rolling. I come from the theater. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. But baby, I hollered out loud I hollered. And the other thing that I hollered at was when, and I'm not sure if you said it or somebody else said it. Somebody said something like, it's like Mean Girls, but with emergency alarm bracelets. I howled. It was so funny. Y'all were like, it was like Mean Girls and Stand By Me, but with Golden Girls. I kind of loved everything about that. I really did.
Right.
How much fun did you have shooting it? I know y'all had a good time.
We had so much fun. We were in Atlanta at this hotel called the La Meridian, and they had jazz in the evening and a bar. And we would all, you know, some of us always get together, go to dinner after work, or either just hang out in the lobby and listen to music. It was so much fun. And the actual doing of it was fun too, because we were actually in a retirement home with the people there. Some of them got a chance to be in the movie, and oh my God, they were so happy. And it was a good environment. Alec Maple was there. He kept everybody laughing. I don't know if you
him. He's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. We just had such a ball with him. And so it was a great experience. It felt like a paid vacation, but I shouldn't say that because I'm not a cop. But it was great. It was really, really great.
Now, I know that you infused so much of Loretta into Sally, but what I also wanted to know is, there's that line in the film that's in the wedding where Jane Curtin's character, Janet, says, it's never too late to make friends, find love, or take risk. Do you subscribe to that ideology as well?
Not at all.
You lying.
Girl, I'm too old to make friends. If you ain't already a friend, girl, don't come over and talk about you want to be my friend. I have to look at you with my good eye.
I hate you. I hate you so much right now. I hate you. But I love you. I'm so glad that you approved me to interview you because I knew this was going to be a good time.
Well, it's just the truth, baby. I'm sorry.
Well, Miss Loretta, that is my time. We're going to have to key some other time, and I'll tell you all about how I became
so good to see you.
It's great to
so
see
good
you.
To see you.
I love the film. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Mama.
Bye-bye.
She makes me laugh out loud because she's crazy. She's crazy, but she's so much fun. So much fun. When she started out talking about, she said, I'm not going to eat up your 4 minutes because I don't want to gossip. I thought I was going to pee on myself. I laughed so hard. But anyway, let's just keep the show moving. So Ann-Margret is one of my favorite people ever. I got to see her at the Moné in St. Louis, Missouri, like eons ago. And she was Mrs. Walker and Tommy, which I also had done that musical. And she's in one of my favorite movies, Bye Bye Birdie. So I was just like, I'm going to talk to Ann-Margret. Oh my God, I could not wait. So take a look and a listen to this Queen Bee interview with the Queen herself, Miss Ann-Margret.
Hello there.
Hello, Miss Ann. How are you doing today? You good?
Great. I want you to see, it says Queen Bees.
I love it.
My sweater.
I love that. I almost wore something sparkly for you in occasion of you being a queen bee and, the diva that you are. But I was like, you're doing too much, girl. Calm down.
Wait, where are you from? Where are you talking to
I'm
me
based
from?
in Los Angeles, but I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Aha.
I actually saw you at the Moné in St. Louis long time ago.
Yes. Oh, I loved playing the Moné.
I know.
Moné.
Moné.
Right.
It's a great venue.
I want to pronounce it correctly.
Queen Bees. It was hysterical and you were hilarious in it. This has become a new lane for you, these types of films. And I kind of love that for you. There's a moment in the film where one of the characters says, it's never too late to find friends,
right?
Find love and take risks. How close are you to that ideology in real life?
Oh man, I have taken such risks in my life. You can tell by all the accidents that I've had. My motorcycle, I have a beautiful motorcycle. I have a Harley, a lavender Harley with Harley Davidson written in script. And I have the best time on it. And I don't think there's an age where you have to stop doing the things you love.
I agree. Absolutely.
And you might even meet somebody that you can fall in love with. You never know.
No, you don't. You never know. And it's not good to look that far ahead in life. What would you say? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
What was your most memorable, funnest day on set? Because y'all look like y'all had a ball.
Oh my gosh. Well, there was a time when there were like 100 people in the scene, and all of a sudden, I see Jimmy Kahn sitting at the piano and he was great, and I went yay like this, and I have a flip phone, and it flipped out, and I crashed it, and I remember that it was such a fun.
Girl, it's time for you to step into the 21st century anyway.
No, I went to get it fixed. I said to this gentleman, can you fix this? And he laughed at me. The man laughed at me. But that didn't bother me. I just got a brand new flip phone.
Oh, you are hilarious. I wish I had so much more time with you. You are one of my favorites. I love and adore you so very, very much.
Thank
you
you
so much for your time. Thank you.
Have a great day, all right? And
You
night.
too.
Have a great time.
You too. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, that's right. It's the weekend.
Bye now.
That's
JPI.
right.
To keep up with the Curvy Critic, like our page here, click that subscribe button, and click that bell for notifications. Love, peace, and hair. Baby, purple lavender Harleys and flip phones. She gave me my entire life. I love me some Ann-Margret. I love her, love her, love her. All right, so we're at the tail end of this bad boy. And before I get out of here, I'm going to tell you a few things before we get into this last interview with Academy Award-winning director, Barry Jenkins. So I didn't talk about what I did last week. So last week, I did a lot of screenings. I actually went back into the theater. It was totally COVID safe and socially distanced, and I had on my mask, and it was good to sit in a theater. But I kind of dig sitting at home watching a movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, ooh, I gotta actually go drive somewhere and park my car. I kind of wasn't having it. But anyway, I went to see F9, which is the Fast and Furious franchise movie. It's going to be in theaters on June 25th. I'm doing an article for them. I'm doing an article for Ebert.com reviewing Hitman's Bodyguard, but F9, June 25th. So I'll be reviewing that next week. I talked about The House Next Door. I talked about Hitman's Bodyguard. That stars Salma Hayek, Samuel L. Jackson, and my boy, Ryan. Ugh, I love Ryan Reynolds. He is hilarious. It's a funny film. Us Again previewed this week. It is a Disney short that is gorgeous, 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 dealing with dance. And again, that ideology of you're never too old. You know, age is a state of mind. Youth is eternal if you feel youthful in your spirit. Luca is coming to Disney. I have interviews with Jim Gaffigan next week with Luca. And I have the director, Enrico, and one of the producers, Andrea. I'll be talking to them. And then Mary J. Blige's trailer dropped this past week, My Life, her documentary. That was really good. Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman, that trailer dropped as well. And I got a sneak peek of the first 2 episodes of Loki, which is dropping on June 9th. And next week, I will have one of the stars, Wumi Mosako, here. So having said all of that, the Underground Railroad has been a huge, huge hit for Amazon Prime. Everybody's talking about it. It's incited a lot of conversation. And I had an opportunity through the Africa Roundtable series to sit down and chat with Barry Jenkins for a really brief moment. So I want you guys to get a look and a listen to this conversation that we had about some okra.
What's her name?
Okay. And what I'd like to know is, you know, Cora has these okra seeds that are like her good luck charm that she's walking around with from state to state, from situation to situation. And I feel like for you, your composer, Nicholas Britell, is your okra seed because he comes with you from project to project to project. How did you collaborate with him on this particular project, especially for the music in the end credits? Because it ranged from everything from hip hop to classical. And I was, for each episode, I was waiting for the end credits just so I could hear what music y'all were going to throw in at the end. So I just wanted to know how you and Nick collaborated on making that happen.
Yeah, it was pretty organic. A lot of stuff with this show was organic. Rather than trying to control everything, I just at some point decided to free myself up. The okra seeds happened by accident. One of the people in the art department came to me and showed me a pod of, actually, I thought it was just a dried thing. I was like, well, what is this? He's like, oh, it's okra. I was like, it doesn't look like any okra I've ever seen, because my grandma was from the Bahamas. She used to cook okra, and I hated it as a kid because it was so slimy, man. I grew into it as I got older. You know, now I love okra. But he wrung it out, and all these seeds fell on my desk, and he picked one up and he said, no matter how dry this gets, if you plant it, it will grow. Which to me was just a symbol of Black folks. This thing came from the continent and you cannot kill it. Its life force will always replenish itself. And so I thought, oh, this is Cora's legacy. She's going to take this with her. And then as we're making the show, I kept trying to figure out, well, where is she taking it to? Because Tuso can tell you, in the South Carolina episode, Ridgway actually finds it. He goes into the dorm and he takes it from underneath her bed, because that was the first episode we shot. But as I'm learning the show, I was like, oh, that can't happen. So we cut that scene out. And then magically, Cora gets to North Carolina and now Grace is talking about it. And I'm just trying to figure out, what does this little girl say to her? And Grace says, you should plant them. Why are you carrying around okra? It ain't what they meant for. And I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. That's just me and Mike Abella riffing. And I thought, okay, cool. Message. I got to do something with that. And that was how we ended up at the point where I learned maybe 3 days before we shot the ending of the show, which we shot on day 50, she's got to plant these seeds, on the top of this hill, which was a scene I wrote for Tuso about 2 days before we shot it. Didn't talk to her about it, didn't rehearse it. And the reason why they're just standing there at the beginning of the scene is because nobody knows we're rolling. And I finally call out action, and Tuso just goes and does it. And James and I are there with the camera and we're just following Tuso. And what's in the show is take one. It's completely unrehearsed. We're just kind of following, kind of like the life force of this beautiful South African woman playing my lead. And so just like that, same thing with Nick and I, we just chase, we just follow, trying to see where the energy of the episode, the energy of the characters is going. The music shifts every time we get to a state because Cora shifted. And then once we get to Tennessee, Cora's no longer in control of the narrative. So we stop with music. Now Nick and I said, it's just sound. Ridgway doesn't get music, he gets sound. And so we took what we were making the music out of in the first 3 episodes, and we just started breaking it. And we'd figure out what sounds we can make out of the broken music. And that's how we scored the Tennessee episodes. The needle drops at the end of the episodes, that wasn't Nick. That was, we stopped filming, all these protests were happening, and people, justifiably so, people were taking the score from Beale Street, and they were using it to score videos of people giving speeches at these protests. I thought, oh, this is crazy. We made this period piece and people are using it to underscore this very contemporary happening. And then we were cutting the episode, because one of the first episodes I finished editing was the first Indiana episode. And so Cora comes out of her love dream with Caesar. It's the one episode where she gets both her mens. And so she's like in this love dream with Caesar. Then she wakes up and she walks in a Royal's cabin, and the camera comes around, she walks out. And I started hearing Amel LaRue. I started hearing the song from my high school years of this Black woman in 1995 singing of her heartbreak. And I thought, oh, and now I have this other Black woman in 1855 feeling the same heartbreak. We're connected. This is the legacy. This is generational trauma, generational yearning, generational joy. This is what's also passed on. And I thought, oh, this is where we can use contemporary music. That was the first one we did. Then after that, it was like a game. Because I was like, yo, Ridgway's talking so much shit. He just talking. This is America. This is America. This is America. And then I was like, oh, Donald's going to have the final say. This is America. And so it became a game like that, which when you're making something that's heavy, you need something that's fun, a little bit of levity. And the needle drops kind of became that for us.
I appreciated all of it, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Renata. Oh, Miss Carla, excuse me. Thank you, Carla.
It's all good. I love how he called me Miss Carla. I'm like, yes, throw that respect on my name, Barry Jenkins. All right, so let me just run through who I'd like to thank for coming through today. Miss Bresha Webb, who hopped in here live with us to talk about The House Next Door, the Meet the Black sequel. It will be in theaters this week. Check out the Moby doc, which is on Discovery Plus. In the Heights, which is going to be streaming via HBO Max and simultaneously in theaters. Infinite, with Antoine Fuqua directing, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Mark Wahlberg starring. Law and Order is up and running, so you can see that finale that Danielle and Tamara and I talked about. You can also catch Queen Bees, which will be streaming via Universal Pictures and in theaters. starring Ann-Margret, Loretta Devine, Ellen Burstyn, James Caan, and Jane Curtin. And of course, you can catch The Underground Railroad, which was directed by Barry Jenkins on Amazon Prime Video. But hold up, wait a minute. Next week, y'all, next week, I have interviews with Loki star Wunmi Mosaku. You will remember her from Lovecraft Country and His House that was on Netflix. I'll also be reviewing F9, Peter Rabbit 2, Hitman's Bodyguard, and I promise, start to do a recap or give you some things to think about in terms of the AFI DOCS Film Festival. And you too can attend that because it's going to be virtually. So you can experience that with me and we can all have a conversation about it. If this is your first time joining me, please click that bell for notifications. Give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were here and subscribe to the channel. I want to thank my True Blue Ride or Dies with the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata, Michael B., Brandon, and Kenneth. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. And for those of you that are catching it after we're live, thank you for tuning in and thank you for taking the time to click on it. So until the next time, please continue to wash them hands, continue to social distance, get that vaccine if you want to get it so that you can hang out with your friends and have cocktail, do a little happy hour action. And until next week, love, peace, and hair grace, and I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.